Good evening, everyone. We are the Group 2, and it is my pleasure to welcome you all to tonight's presentation on gender dynamics and workplace culture. So, gender and organizational culture are closely intertwined as the beliefs, values, and practices within institutions often mirror implicit gender expectations. In many workplaces, gender norms influence how roles are assigned, how authority is exercised, and how employees are expected to behave. When these norms are left unexamined, they can perpetuate unequal opportunities, reinforce stereotypes, and create barriers for certain groups, particularly women and minorities. In this presentation, we will explore how gender roles, perception, and relationships influence various aspects.
Hi, I'm Rica Dideles and I'll be reporting Topic 1 for Lesson 3. So what is the definition of organizational structure? Organizational structure means the common values, beliefs, habits, and rules that guide how people work and interact in a company or institution. You can think of it as the personality of the organization. It affects how decisions are made, how people communicate, how leaders lead, and how employees relate to one another. But this culture is not always neutral. It often mirrors the larger society. This means it can include gender roles or expectations. Sometimes, this encourages fairness and equal treatment, but other times, they may continue old habits of inequality between men and women. So we have the role of social norms and gender roles in workplace behavior. The way society views men and women strongly affects how they are treated at work. So we have the leadership roles. People often expect men to be confident and commanding, while women are expected to be caring and cooperative. And then for the behavioral expectations, if women act very confident, they might be criticized as too aggressive. On the other hand, men may be judged negatively if they show emotions like kindness and vulnerability. While in workplace practices, job tasks are sometimes divided by gender. Men may be given technical or decision-making jobs, while women are often assigned support or office work, even when both have the same skills and qualifications. So we have the examples of gender dynamics. For leadership expectations, when male leaders make quick and firm decisions, people often see it as a strength. But if female leaders act the same way, they may be unfairly called bossy or aggressive. For emotional labor, women are usually expected to take care of people's feelings at work, like solving conflicts, cheering up coworkers, or keeping the team spirit high. These tasks are important but often not recognized or rewarded. And then lastly, the division of tasks. Men are more often given roles that involve strategy, technology, or decision-making. Women, meanwhile, are often given clerical work like paperworks, scheduling, admin works, or roles that involve caregiving and support, even if they have the same skills as men. So that's it. May we have Mr. Philip Dideles for our next reporter. Thank you.
Good evening, Ma'am Sir. For my report is a case study, gender in corporate versus setting. Corporate organization. Big companies are usually more strict and structured. Most top leaders are men and women often face unfair treatment. This can be seen in slower promotion, lower pay compared to men, and fewer women sitting on company boards. Example, glass ceiling in tech companies. In many large tech like Google or Apple, women are still underrepresented in executive position. For example, despite women making a significant part of the workforce, men still dominate roles such as chief executive or chief technology officer. Pay gap in finance. Studies show women in banking and finance often earn less than men for same level of work, and promotion to senior position are much lower for women. Non-government organization or NGOs. NGOs are often seen as more open, team-oriented. More women usually work here compared to corporation. However, women may still struggle to get leadership position, and sometimes the decision-making style still follows traditional male-dominant pattern. Example, international NGOs, even in organization that promotes equality like humanitarian or development NGOs, leadership boards are still often male-dominated. For example, women may lead projects in the field but are underrepresented in the central decision-making bodies. Local NGOs, local community NGOs. In grassroots NGOs, women may take on many responsibilities like community organizing and fieldworks, but final authority is still usually held by men, reflecting traditional gender roles. In summary, even though NGOs look more equal, both companies and NGOs still have gender bias. That's why both sectors need clear strategies to promote fairness and build truly inclusive workplace. Thank you.
Good evening, classmate. Good evening, teacher. I'm Jinky from Human Resources Management Office and Group 2. I'll be discussing about the type of bias and the bias practices in a workplace. So, gender bias at workplace is the unfair treatment or attitude based on a person's gender in the workplace. Ito yung mga unfair treatment po. Hindi na po ito na iiwasan sa isang organization, whether it's a private or a public organization. Meron po tayong mga type of biases. Ito po yung implicit bias. Implicit bias is when people make a decision based on unconscious belief or stereotype. Ito po yung mga dati nating paniniwala na ang mga kababaihan ay for admin work or HR or mga secretariat role, while ang mga kalalakihan naman po ay pang executive, pang managerial position. So ayun po siya. Then the glass ceiling, this is the invisible barrier that stop qualified women from reaching the highest leadership position. Then, the third one is the pay gap, unequal wages. Ito naman po is yung mga more on mas malaki yung nasasahod ng lalaki or natatanggap na wages ng lalaki kaysa sa mga babae because they able to do the overtime than the women na kailangan ng umuwi at nagmamadali na dahil magsasaing pa sa bahay, magluluto, maglilinis, whatever because of the other obligation. So, ngayon, mas malaki yung natatanggap. May OT, mas malaki ang bayad. So, the next one is the parental leave inequality. Parental leave, ito po yung maternity and the paternity. Paternity is yung mayroon tayong 105 days na leave, while ang mga lalaki naman is parang 7 days lang yung kanilang paternity. Parang ganun po. Then, so sila is more on the benefits po ang kanila. Then, the next one naman po, proceed is practices in a workplace. Ito naman yung during or nagpo-posting pa lang po ng hiring, meron na kaagad biases kasi may connotation na maximum flexibility or long hour, which is alam po natin na talaga ang mga babae nga naman is more on hindi sila hindi nila kaya or hindi naman sa hindi kaya, parang mas mahihirapan ng babae na magkaroon ng flexible time dahil nga kailangan nila yung alagaan or yung mga anak nila, kailangan natin kaagad asikasuhin. Kung wala man, siguro yung parents, ganon. So, while sa mga lalaki, meron silang paano ba to? Meron silang flexible time or kaya nilang mag-adjust pagdating sa ganon. The second one is yung promotion biases. So, promotion biases, mas napipili po ang mga kalalakihan. Mas more on opportunity ang mga lalaki pagdating sa ganitong, pagdating sa promotion. Dahil daw sila is all around. Kahit ano kaya nila, ano kaya ang hindi nila kayang gawin, ano kaya yung kaya nila na hindi natin kayang gawin, parang tingin ko wala naman. Pero pagdating nga sa workplace, minsan sila pa yung mas napaprioritize pagdating sa promotion, kasi sila daw yung mas magagaling, sila yung masculine, 'di ba? So sila talaga yung may potential na ma-promote dan sa women na nagbabase sa mga performance natin o sa performance natin mga kababaihan. Pero ganun din, kasi kahit naman mag-base sila sa performance, meron pa rin talagang thinking or meron pa rin talagang option na si men pa rin yung kanilang mapili. Mentoring and sponsorship gap. So dahil nga si lalaki ang ating executive or ang ating manager, ang ating boss, so mas may tendency na piliin niya rin ay lalaki dahil nga sa ganung way or dahil nga sa ganung biases na nangyayari. So here po, meron kasing tayong connotation dito sa Pilipinas. Hindi ko alam po sa Pilipinas lang po, pero meron po kasing connotation na ang mga lalaki ay mas all around pagdating sa trabaho kaysa sa ating mga kababaihan. Mas magagaling sila na magtrabaho. Siguro galing na nga doon sa history, sa ating culture dati or culture before, na ang mga babae nga naman is mahihina, mga wala tayong alam at hindi natin dapat alamin yung mga bagay-bagay. Siguro, kaya hanggang ngayon nadadala pa rin po siya. So that would be all. Thank you po.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight we are going to present our report about progressive organization and legal framework. This topic focuses on how modern organizations adapt to change in laws, policies, and workplace standards to promote fairness, equality, and efficiency. Progressive organizations now implement HR policy that use gender-neutral language in job description. This means using words that do not favor a specific gender. Example ko na lang po dito, instead na sabihin salesman, just say salesperson or sales representative. Second, establish clear criteria for promotion and performance evaluation. This means having fair and transparent standard in promoting employees or judging their performance based on skills and result, not on favoritism or gender. Third, provide equal opportunity for training, mentorship, and leadership development. All employees, regardless of gender, should have the same chance to attend the training program and leadership workshop. Fourth, enforce strict anti-discrimination and anti-harassment policies. This ensures that no one is treated unfairly or harassed because of their gender, religion, or background. Violation should have serious consequences. Plus, ensure equal access to parental leave for both mothers and fathers. Both parents should have the right to take time off work to care for their newborn child without fear of losing their job. Let's proceed for the legal frameworks in the Philippines. Number 1, Republic Act 9710, Magna Carta of Women. This law ensures that women are given equal right, pay, and opportunity in employment and leadership. Example, ang isang kumpanya ay nagpo-promote ng mga empleyado batay sa mga performance na kanilang employee, hindi dahil sa kasarian or gender ng isang employee. A woman is given the same chance as a man to become a department manager. Number 2, Republic Act 7877, Anti-Sexual Harassment Act of 1995. This law prohibited any form of sexual harassment in workplaces, school, or training institution. Example, isang empleyado ang nagreklamo laban sa kanyang supervisor na nagsasabi ng bastos na biro. The company investigate and finalize the offender according to the law. Third, Republic Act 11313, Safe Spaces Act, Bawal Bastos Law. This law protects individuals from gender-based harassment in public, online, and workplaces. Example, isang lalaking empleyado ang nangharas sa katrabahong babae sa social media. The company discipline him and conduct gender sensitivity training for all staff. Fourth, Labor Code of the Philippines. This law provides for labor practices, including maternity and paternity leave, equal employment opportunities, and protection from discrimination. Example po, ang isang empleyadong ama ay bibigyan po ng 7 days na paternity leave para maalagaan ang kanyang asawa at anak. Habang ang empleyadong babae naman ay meron po silang 105 days na maternity leave by the law. Now that I finished my part, let us proceed to the next part of our discussion. To continue the report, let me call on Ms. Maricel Salvador. Thank you.
Now let's go to topic 3, creating an inclusive and equitable workplace culture. There are 3 elements of inclusivity. Number 1 is representation. Everyone, women, men, and people of all gender identities, including LGBTQ+, should have equal opportunities to be hired, promoted, and included in important decisions in the organization. Example, sa isang opisina, hindi lang lalaki ang pwedeng maging supervisor. Lahat ng empleyado, babae man o LGBTQ+, ay may chance na ma-promote basta qualified ka. Kapag bumubuo ng committee, sinisigurado ng management na may halong lalaki, babae, at iba pang mga gender para pantay-pantay ang representasyon at iba-iba ang idea. Number 2, respect. Everyone should be treated with fairness and kindness. Their opinions, work, and individuality should be valued equally, no matter their gender or background. Example, sa meeting, pinakikinggan ng boss ang bawat isa, walang pinipili, babae man o miyembro ng LGBTQ+. Kapag may nagbiro ng medyo bastos na joke, agad itong pagsasabihan para mapanatili ang respeto sa workplace. Ipinapakita ng ganitong ugali na pantay-pantay ang lahat. Number 3, psychological safety. People should feel safe to express ideas, ask questions, or report problems without fear of being embarrassed, judged, or punished. Example, may empleyado na napansin na mayroong mali sa sistema ng attendance. Instead na matakot ka, lalapitan mo yung supervisor mo para ipaliwanag mo na, sir, parang meron pong mali sa sistema ng attendance natin. Si supervisor naman, imbis na magagalit, syempre pakikinggan niya kung ano ba yung pagkakamali. Dahil dito, mas magiging open ang mga tao na magsabi ng suggestions or concern nila sa trabaho.
Good evening, classmate. Ang report ko naman po ay tungkol sa gender sensitivity training. Ano nga ba ito? Workshop or learning program na nagtuturo kung paano ang gender bias, stereotype, at paano makipag-interact ng respectful ng gender identity. Bakit importante? Nakakatulong ito para mabawasan ang diskriminasyon, maiwasan ng harassment, at pag-create ng psychological safe na workplace. Nagpapataas din ito ng trust at retention ng mga particular na nilalaman ng module. Basic concept, sex versus gender or gender identity, sexual orientation, expression. Respectful communication and pronoun use, kung paano magtanong o i-pronounce ang respetuhin ito. Reporting and support mechanism, paano mag-report at paano ang proseso format. Half day sa workshop plus online respect every 6-12 months. Include role plays and case study. Measuring effectiveness, pre-post training, survey, identity logging, change in employee sentiment. Sample. Ang example nito, Taglish line para sa training invited. Magkakaroon ng mandatory gender sensitivity workshop para sa lahat ng staff ngayong June. Layunin nito, linawin ang gender terms, identity ng unconscious bias at practice ng respectful interaction sa workplace. Policy adult. Ano nga ba ito? HR and company policies, kasama dito yung recruitment, promotion, leave, benefits o harassment policy para makita kung may mga gender gaps or rules sa isang pang gender or gender non-conforming people. Mga halimbawa, collective policy. Ito naman yung recruitment ads, JB template, promo o kartrilya o leave document and evaluation form. Pangalawa, data review, promotion rate by gender, hiring, conversation rate, leave pay gap. Language check, alamin kung may gender words or chairman, working mother use. Stakeholder interview, HR, female staff, LGBTQ employees replace union. Gap analysis and recommendation, proposed policy, text change, new benefits, caregiver leave, screening, fixable or work agreement. Implementation plan and monitoring, deadlines, own items to look for pay equity, prenatal leave, same for all gender, caregiver leave, anti-harassment procedure, transparent promotion or criteria. Example, tag list recommendation para sa policy. I-recommend natin i-update ang job ad template. Tanggalin ang he or she reference, gawing gender natural ang language at ilagay we welcome applicants at all gender. Number 3, exclusive language. Ano ito? Phrasing na hindi nag-a-assume ng gender o hindi nag-e-extend ang ibang groups. Bakit importante ang language? Safe culture. Kapag exclusive ang word, nakakaramdam ng welcome ng mas maraming tao before after example. Example dito is yung chairman. After chairperson or chair, pwede natin itawag. Before salesman yung tinatawag natin. Ngayon, pwede natin silang tawagin na sales representative. Before, tinatawag natin, he, she will report to the manager. Pwede natin ito yung gawin, they will report to the manager or the employee will report to the manager. Siyempre, isa rin dito yung mga example is yung update templates, yung email, JD contacts, add a short exclusive language guide for writing. Meron din yung train HR or legal or pronoun use and name change procedure. Before, tinatawag natin sila, Dear Sir, Madam. Pwede rin natin tawagin ang mga applicant natin na team job, job posting, sample, open position, administrative assistant. Inaayaan namin ang lahat ng qualified na applicant ng anumang kasarian, edad o background. Particular tips for round off. Number 4, leadership development. Ano ito? Program that international prepared human and underrepresented group for leadership, roles to training, mentorship, scholarship, and great assignment. Bakit importante? Without activity development, exciting network, and bias can block career progress and target the reduce that barriers component and activity. Leadership training, course or strategy thinking, negotiational, public speaking, Mentorship, one-on-one pairing with experienced leader can be cross-gender. Mentorship, senior leaders activity advocating for maintenance and promotion. Discussion, sponsorship depends from mentorship by buying advocacy focus. Pen network human leadership circle, safe for sharing and problem solving. Metex to top percent of the human in leadership pen line. Promotional rate by gender time to promotion, rotation of program participants. Sample, taglist action praise, mag-launch tayo ng 12 months leadership para sa high potential female and underpaid staff. Coaching 3 scratch project at 1 sponsor mula sa example team. Thank you, classmate.
Hi classmates and teachers. Ito naman po ang report ko regarding po sa role of top management and HR. Ang top management set the tone for inclusivity through vision, commitment, and accountability. Leader must model inclusive behaviors and allocate resources for equity programs. Subalit sa madaling salita, ang top management ang nagsisilbing gabay o haligi ng organization. Pagdating sa pagiging eklusibo, ibig sabihin, sila ang nagbibigay ng direksyon at halimbawa kung paano magtrato ng patas ang lahat ng empleyado, anuman ang kasarian, edad o pinagmulan. Dapat malilaw sa kanilang vision para sa pagkapantay-pantay, may mga commitment silang ipapatupad ito at may accountability o pananagutan para matiyak na sinusunod nila ang buong organization. Sila rin ang naglalaan ng pondo at suporta para sa programa na nagpo-promote ng equity at inclusivity. Next, human resources. HR implements fair hiring, evaluation, and promotion system ensure compliance with labor and gender laws and monitor employee well-being through regular feedback mechanism. So, bali sa madaling salita, ang HR naman ay nagsasagawa o nagpapatupad ng mga patakaran na sumusuporta sa layunin ng top management. Sila ay nag-aasikaso ng patas na proseso sa pag-hire, evaluation at promotion ng mga empleyado. Tinitiyak din nila na sumusunod ang kampanya sa mga batas sa paggagawa ng kasiran o binabantayan nila ang kalagayan at kapakanan ng mga empleyado sa pamamagitan ng mga feedback at survey para malaman kung masaya on or komportable sa kanilang trabaho. Then, yun lang po ang aking report. Thank you, classmates and teachers.
Good evening everyone, I'm Rosalyn Umpad. Ngayon po isipapaliwanag ko ang global example. UN Women's Empowerment Principle or WEPS, a set of 7 guidelines developed by UN Women and UN Global Compact to advance gender equality and empower women in the workplace, marketplace, and community. Ito po ay patnubay ng binuo ng UN Women and UN Global Compact upang isulong ang pagkakapantay-pantay ng kasarian at ibigay kapangyarihan ang mga kababaihan sa lugar ng trabaho, pamilihan, at komunidad. Halimbawa, ganito po siya. Isang kumpanya sa Pilipinas ang sumunod sa mga patnubay ng WEPS or Women's Empowerment Principles sa pamamagitan ng pagbibigay ng pantay-pantay na oportunidad sa promosyon para sa mga babaeng empleyado at pagsasanay para sa magiging leader ng kumpanya. Next one naman po yung Fortune 500 DEI Initiative. Top companies like Google, Microsoft, and Procter & Gamble invest in DEI program. First, to improve gender balance. Promote equal representations of women in all roles, especially in leadership and technical field. Next, create inclusive leadership pipeline. Develop and support diverse talent through mentorship, training, and equitable promotion practices. And the last one, drive innovation through diverse team. Leverage different perspective and experience to enhance creative, problem-solving, and business performance. Halimbawa, isang kumpanya dito sa Pilipinas na naglunsad ng mentorship program na nakatuon sa kababaihan sa teknolohiya upang mapalakas ang kanilang kakayahan at mapromote sa mga posisyon na kanilang pamumunuan. Sa pamamagitan nito, mas dumami ang mga babaeng leader at mas gumanda ang kumpanya dahil sa iba't ibang idea at karanasan. Yun lamang po, maraming salamat.